Can everyone rise for the posting of the colors?
We would like to thank everyone for attending our Veterans Day program. We as a school and a community value veterans with the highest regard. We have a great selection of musical pieces presented by the high school and band and choir, middle school choir, and elementary students, all directed by Mr. Lewis.
We would also like to thank the Legion for being here and the Vito County 4-H Cardinals covers for the tree back. We will kick off the program with a couple of selections from our elementary students. Army. Navy, please stand.
The Coast Guard, please stand. The Air Force, please stand. The Marines, please stand.
Hello, my name is Keegan Hyder. I'll be introducing our guest speaker today, our great uncle, Larry Price. So, Larry Price is from Redfield, South Dakota. Larry served as a South Dakota American Legion State Commander in 1997 and 98. He served 8 years as an alternate National Executive Committee man. He served as a chairman of the National Americanism Commission. Currently the chairman of the National Youth Cadet.
Yep.
He is currently the chairman of the National Youth Cadet Law Enforcement Program Committee. Larry also serves as the chairman of the South Dakota American Legion Public Safety Committee that oversees the South Dakota Youth Trooper Program. Larry is a 52-year paid up for the life member of Clay Keyser Post 92 in Redfield. Larry grew up on a farm near Tulare and graduated from Tulare High School. He attended Dakota State University in Madison. In 1970, Larry joined the South Dakota Army National Guard as an artilleryman. He managed elevators and Millette in Columbia for the South Dakota wheat growers for 9 years. In 1979, they moved to Redfield, where he was stationed as a recruiter for the South Dakota National Guard. After a great 20-year career, he retired with 30 years as a master sergeant. Since retiring from the National Guard, he has worked as a crop adjuster and snowplow operator for the SDDOT. Larry and Rita have 2 adult children, 8 grandchildren, and 3 bonus grandchildren. Rita retired after 28 years as the Redfield Public Schools Food Service Director. Gloria and her husband Mike live in Florence. She serves as a registered nurse at Prairie Lakes Hospital in Watertown. Craig and Cammy live in Pierre, where he served as Governor Nolan's cabinet as Secretary of Public Safety. Larry and Rita have a place at Westwood Lodge Resort where they spend their summers. Larry's hobbies include hunting, fishing, watching grandkids events, and working with American Legion youth programs. Larry Price.
Thank you, Keegan. Are we working?
Yep, yeah.
Good. What a treat! Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. What a great crowd. Gee whiz, I couldn't believe it. I think this is, I've spoken at several Veterans Day programs, and I think this is the largest crowd that we've ever had. So thank you very much for showing up and paying respect and honoring our veterans. Today is a special day. Veterans Day started in 1918 after the end of World War I. And November 11th was going to be designated as Veterans Day. It was Armistice Day, the end of World War I. And then in 1954, President Eisenhower signed into law designating Veterans Day to be a national holiday to be observed on November 11th of each year to honor all veterans of all wars. So here we are, 104 years later, and we're still honoring our veterans very, very, very proudly. At this time, I'd like all the veterans in the crowd, would you stand please? All the veterans, anybody that served in the military, please stand. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. Today's your day. Welcome home. Thank you. For all the students in here, you may not realize, but these ladies and gentlemen who just stood and were recognized are people who stood up and counted when our country needed them. Many of them went off to war, and some of them still suffer from injuries, both physical and mental. Fortunately, I can tell that the people that are here today, most of them are in really great shape. I appreciate your service, and we all appreciate your service. They all served, some overseas in harm's way, obviously, so that we can all be free. We can come together on November 11th, celebrate our freedom, and honor our veterans. I'm always reminded that whenever we have a veteran, someone who volunteers to serve our country, when they get mobilized or they go off to war, it always affects the families and the family members. At this time, I would like to have all of the veterans stand again, please, and then stand, please. Now, I would like to have everyone who has a friend or a relative who has served in the military to please stand up. Wow! Isn't that something? Thank you all. Thank you all very much, the veterans and the families and friends of all of our veterans. Thank you. As a recruiter, when the guard units that I worked for got activated, it was my duty to stay home and work with families whose family member had been activated. That is when you learn how difficult it is at times for parents, for spouses, for dependents, for their kids, and all the family members. Unlike Veterans Day, Memorial Day of each year, we honor the men and women who sacrificed their lives, protecting us and those who serve and who have passed on to a life everlasting. When I come to Wolsey, I can remember when I was a young man, I used to come, maybe not so young too, but we had a great legionnaire in Wolsey. His name was Dutch Meyer. How many of you knew Dutch? That guy could sing, could he? He could really sing. It was fun to go to sporting events, graduations, or wherever Dutch was going to sing. He had a little passion for music. He was a great veteran. We have other veterans from this area that I miss. Fortunately, we still have some of you that are still here. A gentleman by the name of Don Clark was one of my greatest mentors. Don's son Kevin is here today. Thanks, Kevin. Marvin Matthews. Marvin was a mentor of mine. Gerald Zerfus. Several of the Wessington, Wolsey area. Gunnar Petro. Gentlemen that I served with in the Legion. We miss them all, and we honor them all on Memorial Day. But today's Veterans Day. Today I'm going to ask each of you to recognize our living veterans and show your appreciation by joining me in saying, thank you for your service. So will you repeat after me, students? Thank you for your service. Good job. I might call on you and ask you to do that again, okay? So, we all know that's pretty easy to do. But there's a lot of things that we can do to honor our veterans rather than just say, thank you for your service. Things that we don't think about. Things like getting a good education. You want to make a veteran feel good? Get a good education. That way they know that their service and sacrifice is appreciated by your efforts. We can all study history, and we can learn how our country got to where we are today, and to recognize the mistakes and recognize the successes that we have achieved. Study the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It's very important to help you for the rest of your life. You need to know where we come from and why we're here, a free country. You can participate in school activities. Be a good classmate. Help others. And don't bully. Be a leader in school and in other organizations you belong to. How about that? Every time we go to a meeting, they always tell me, if your phone goes off, it's going to cost you $20. There it goes. Sorry. One important thing that you can do, another important thing, is volunteer for community service. Our communities need help. Your neighbors need help. So volunteer for community service. Set goals that will help you become successful in life. Make good choices. Plan for your future. You and you alone are the person who makes those decisions. You are responsible for your actions and ultimately for your future. You can do and be whatever you want to be. It's all up to you. Don't be influenced in a bad way by your peers. If you decide to go to college or vocational school, if those are in your future, plan for it. We have too many people who have spent years in college, vocational school, mostly college. They can't pay off their loans because maybe they didn't take a career that offered them the opportunities to be able to repay that loan. So when you make those decisions, make good decisions. Consider programs offered outside of the school like Boys and Girls State, oratory contests, play Legion baseball, or attend the South Dakota Youth Trooper Academy. These are great opportunities to learn about how your government works. They will help develop your leadership skills and help develop friends and contacts. Some of these programs even offer scholarships. Each year, the American Legion and the South Dakota Highway Patrol select 24 quality high school juniors and seniors who are considering careers in law enforcement and or the military to attend the South Dakota Youth Trooper Academy. This program has been going for 10 years. And as a result of this program, there are over 30 law enforcement officers across our state that have many, and that many or more have enlisted into the military. 8 of our graduates from our Youth Trooper Academy are now state troopers from South Dakota Highway Patrol. Something else that is important to our veterans and close to their hearts is this American flag right here. All of our veterans have served under Old Glory. They appreciate when our citizens honor and respect our flag. And we would like everyone in this country to be able to look up at this flag and feel proud to be an American. As a member of, I skipped a paragraph here. I'd like to compliment your school for all that you do for your students to help them grow up to be productive and patriotic citizens. Mrs. Hyder tells me that your school starts every day out with the Pledge of Allegiance. That is fantastic. You know how important that is to all of the veterans in this room and the adults. That all of our students know and understand the Pledge of Allegiance. I can tell you as a member of the National Americanism Commission that when we have our meetings in Indianapolis or the National Convention, several states, Americanism officers like myself, comment that some of the schools in their states won't even allow to have a flag on school property, a U.S. flag. I certainly hope that never comes to something like that in this country, in South Dakota, right? During November, next week in fact, we celebrate American Education Week, a time for us to thank our educators for their service. Your hard work and dedication is evident here in Wolsey. I'd also like to thank the area American Legion folks for what you do for the Wolsey-Wessington School District. Thank you very much. Before we close today, I'd like to recognize a couple individuals. I'd like to have Joy Hoverson and Dave Jensen please come up. If you want to know something that really makes a veteran proud, it's to watch young people who commit to service to their country. And we have 2 young men up here who recently enlisted in the military service. And I'd like to just hand the mic to Joey and ask Joey a couple questions. Joey, tell us what branch of service you enlisted into.
I joined the Air National Guard for forces.
Security forces. I got a prospect for the youth trooper academy. Good, congratulations, thank you. So, when do you go off to school?
Well, I'll go to basic in June, and then I'll graduate in August, and I'll go directly to schooling right after that, and I'll graduate in November. San Antonio, Texas.
Hey.
First off, I appreciate the young comment because I'm probably not sure. If I'd known I got up, I'd give up the talk, I'd have asked us Johnson to give me some pointers in speech class review. I think it's been 20 years since I've been in high school. So, I've always been of service. I spent 16 years in the Sioux Falls Fire Department. Got out in early retirement. I still feel like I can get back and serve more. I think that's honestly what we're putting here on the service to do. And so I enlisted with the Army Guard, South Dakota National Guard, as a 12 November horizontal construction engineer on heavy equipment. We're going to Fort Leonard Wood in 13 days, just the day before Thanksgiving. So, and after that, AAT at same.
Let's give these guys a good Okay, students, so now what are we going to say? Thank you for your service. Yes, thank you. Okay, well, let's have one of the old timers come up here. Mr. Clark, could you please come forward a little bit? Thank you for your service, Kevin. I'd like you just to tell everyone a little bit about your military history.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Larry. First of all, I'd like to thank this gentleman for coming to our community to honor veterans. My career in the military is pretty simple. I joined the South Dakota Army National Guard in 1980-something. I'm still a member. I'm in the 200th Engineer Company. And I'm glad you all came out today. Thank you, Larry.
Last winter, I got put on the spot at a Legion meeting in Redfield. And some of my fellow recruiters came to Redfield to present me with an award. And I had the privilege and honor to meet our local National Guard recruiter. I'd like Sergeant First Class Fleming to come forward, please. Libby, you're on the spot.
I joined 20 years ago. I graduated right here, and I joined 9 months after September 11th. I gave a speech this morning in Huron, and just really quickly to talk about why I joined, and maybe this will bring it all together. But I joined 9 months after September 11th, and what I told those young people today in Huron was I saw how much hate others in the world have for us. And so my hope was when I joined was that we could show them how much love we have for our country, and that love would never run out and would always be stronger than the hate they have for us.
What do we say, students? We can't leave yet. I haven't asked any one of you gentlemen yet, but Would one of you Marines please come up here? I like to give Marines a bad time.
It's okay, we can give it back.
Tell us your name. They probably all know you, but I don't. Your name and what the Marine Corps would you do?
Hello, my name's Dean Pierce. I was in the Marine Corps from 1987 to 2003. I did the first call for. Just a reminder that Veterans Day is tomorrow. Today is the Marine Corps birthday. We're talking about 247 days. Marine Corps celebrates its birthday very strongly, so that's great. That's about all I can say. Boot camp took place in San Diego. And my military, especially what I did when I was in the Marine Corps, I was a refueler. And my first duty station, I refueled heavy equipment, tanks, and bulldozers and trucks. And then my second duty station was in Hawaii, and I refueled aircraft. And then my time in Saudi Arabia during the first Gulf War, I was in the northernmost air base at El Jabal, and I refueled AV-8D Harriers, which are V-stall aircraft. They take off and then fly forward, and that was my refueling duty until I got out.
Very good. What do we say, students? Very good. Well, that concludes my little talk today. Kind of stumbled through it. It's so great to see all of you people here. Students, when you come to school on Monday, oh, I know what Mrs. Hyder, front and center. She is, I'm sorry, I'm not for this guy about coming. Lindsay, Mrs. Hyder is my niece. I'm so proud of her. I'm sure that maybe a lot of you don't know that Mrs. Hyder is a veteran. I'm going to have her just talk to you a little bit about where she went for basic training, what unit she belonged to, what she did, where she went to basic training, AIT, what she didn't.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah! All right, so I went to basic training many years ago in South Carolina. I went down to Fort Jackson. And then after that, I joined when I was 17. So between my junior and senior year, I went to basic training. And then to AIT, I went down to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And I studied to be a truck driver, which is the great big 16-wheel trucks you see that are hauling cattle and grain. Those are how big they are. And I had to back them up and go through the cones. I can't do that now, but I could back then. And then I came back and decided to join the hearing unit. And I was a 31 uniform, which is, I ran all the lines for communication so we could talk to people back and forth. That's what I did.
Okay, so Lindsay went to school in Redfield, and when we enlisted Lindsay, who went to basic training with you, we enlisted at the same time.
So you all know where Hitchcock Tulare is, right? Yeah! All right, so there's a family over there called the Bottom family. Have you ever heard of them? No. Some people have. They're big cattle farmers. Amy Bottom, Jeremy is her husband. She was a Yonda back then. So we went through basic training, AIT, everywhere. We went everywhere together. So we were kind of hooked at the hip.
And we did everything we went through together, so it was kind of nice to have somebody with me all the time.
Good, thank you. What do you say, students? Very good, very good. Well, that completes my job. Keeping the mic back. I want to wish Lady Warbirds good luck in the tournament this weekend. Next weekend, we'll be watching. We'll be watching basketball teams and football teams. My wife Rita is here. Rita, would you stand? Volleyball. Yes. You all know my sister Carla. Thanks for coming over, Carla. Okay, ladies, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Now the high school will be playing the This Is My Country.
Can everyone please rise for the retirement of our colors?